spiritual world, we'll say, right? Although I don't like using the spiritual world because what it's come to mean. It's like spiritual and feminist have come to have the worst connotations for beautiful things of anything on the planet, but whatever. So, so the spiritual world holds the everyday world, but the everyday world doesn't hold the spiritual world. The spiritual world can hold all of the everyday world. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And what we're often taught is, if I keep rearranging the conditions, I'll get the condition of ultimate happiness. And what I would suggest is that happiness is the path. We'll say like orgasm is the path, not the goal. Does that make sense? So we often are putting our happiness off until we deserve it, until, a whole variety of things. And what I would suggest is, almost invariably when I work with people and they say, I want a new car. And then I say, how would you feel if you got a new car? Well, I would feel like a very powerful, awesome person who was super attractive and never loved me. And then I say, okay, if you were a super powerful person who was super attractive and never loved you, then what would that give you? Oh, it would give you a feeling of freedom and joy. And I would say, how would that feeling of freedom and joy feel? And then they'll say, it's like I'm going to explode, and just like every cell is vibrating right now. And I'll say, live there, and the rest will come. Does that make sense? So that has been my experience. And that's how OneTaste was built. That's what we did. We just, like, it was like, we were just like, oh my God, we don't have any money. One time we did this dinner, I think one of the people may have been there, we did this dinner, we couldn't make rent. And I'm willing to try anything. One thing I have is resourcefulness. And so they used to do these dinners in Japan where they would put sushi on women. And then people would come and eat it off of them. And so we did it. We threw a dinner like that. It was absolute nightmare. We were like, how do you make this hygienic? And so we wrapped the women in saran wrap. Sweating profusely. They had to lie there like mummies. It was terrible. We burned our chops. Anyway, we just decided to try anything. We decided that the goal was going to be fun. The goal has to be fun. It has to be fun. And so we will, this summer, we had it has to feel good to be good. And so, you know what? Sales and P&L sheets, they probably don't have investors at this point, didn't feel good. So we went to the beach. All of us, we just went to the beach for about 2 weeks. We came back to some phone calls. But that was the idea. The idea is just start there and live the life you want to live. And then suddenly, something really weird does happen. Now, I'm not really proficient in law of attraction stuff, but I would say they've got something. And even Einstein is saying, your vibration attracts whatever should be attracted to you. I'm kind of down with believing that. And I can tell you that's what happens for us. We'll just go to the beach and suddenly everything that's been clogged will open. And it feels so dangerous, right? It's like, in that moment, you're like, but what happens? And then I'll be broke, and if I'm broke, oh my God, I'm going to be homeless. Oh my God, I'm going to be urinating in my pants on the street. And it just goes and this is all because you think you've taken a day off. and it happens. I'll say to Rachel that she's both Rachel's our sales girl, that take some time off now. She'll be on the phone, she'll be like, are you sure you don't want to take a class? It's time to have some fun. So that's my basic feeling, is my basic feeling is we're going to bring the vertical into the horizontal world, to infuse it. I'm not a horizontal hater. I have as much affinity for the mountaintop as I do for the marketplace. I think they're both such unbelievably challenging educational lessons. Really, how do you have a business with heart? But have a business with heart. It's totally confounding. And then how do you use an ATM machine? I don't know these things. Like, worldly things baffle me. They're actually incredibly challenging. And so you begin to learn those, and then all of a sudden you have compassion for people who don't have as much facility in what you have facility in. There's a great spiritual axiom. When you're a pedestrian, think like the driver. When you're a driver, think like the pedestrian. Meaning, remember when you were last a pedestrian and you're driving and you're thinking, oh, this person just hurry up, I can't believe it's dumb walkers, can't they tell me a places to go? Or when you're walking, you're like, look at that maniac. You know, the last time you were a maniac. But if you live in that place, suddenly, really a kind of joyous connection begins to arise.
Thank you.
See, ask me, get a lot.